opening thoughts? Training camp's finally here, and this will essentially be your first as a official head coach for the team.
No, I mean it's an important time for these kids. I think as coaches you get excited about training camp. As players, I think they're excited because now they're coming together. The season's it's less than a month away, and I know the coaching staff has been eager to get these kids together and get them going in practice a little bit, get some familiarity built up, and so yeah, we're excited to go.
Like your season last year, you won the first round of the playoffs, got into the second round, a big boost over previous years. Is this something you can build off of?
Yeah, we certainly can. It was a learning experience. The second round of the playoffs may have been the first time most of our guys have ever been in a 7-game series. So it was a unique experience for them. We ran into a much more veteran team in Oakville. But the thing we like about our group this year is that we've got a lot of returning players, and some of the new players that we've added bring a tremendous amount of experience. So we're excited about that. I think our team is well positioned to get out of the gates with some confidence and have a pretty good season.
The league this year has merged a lot of teams together. There's been some changes. It looks like a much stronger league, actually, if you look at the modifications and some of the couple of teams that merged. How do you think the Buffalo Junior Sabres stack up into this new league?
We stack up, pretty well. I think the league was pretty strong last year. I think any league you look at, you're going to have a few warts on the face. There's a few teams that get beaten up from time to time, and that goes up to the highest leagues in the world. So, but with the league contracting and some teams merging, what we see now is the Buffalo Junior Sabres are going to go in to play the Toronto St. Mike's program, which is rich in history and has always been a strong program. The Toronto Junior Canadians, the North York Rangers. So we're going to see ourselves playing some programs that have had a great history of sending kids to college hockey. So the scouts are there, and I think our kids are going to be up for the test.
Who's the leaders on your team this year? Do you expect them to step up?
You know me, I expect every single player to be a leader. I don't think any team is strong unless everybody's got some leadership abilities. But the guys we will lean on are some of our older players: Rocky Grudidaria, Derek Patterson, Sean Federer, who's come in from Oakville, the Keelich boys, Tim and Josh. We got a large group of leaders in this locker room. And then even some of our new guys, Nolan Sheeran, who come up from the Regal Selects Junior Sabres midget program. He brings a tremendous amount of leadership and experience as well. So we're really excited about the type and the well-rounded leadership that we have in our group.
What's to say about the local talent level here in Western New York? With the Junior Sabres growing, other junior teams growing in this area, you guys are becoming more competitive. It seems like more and more kids are really starting to blossom at this level.
Yeah, and we hope that continues. I think youth hockey in Buffalo, there are a lot of strong young hockey players, and the key to young, strong hockey players is getting them developed properly throughout their young careers. And but once you get to this level, I think when you have the ability to put the top 17 to 19-year-old kids from Western New York, you're going to have a pretty strong group. And then we just augment that with kids from other parts. We brought in a boy from Chicago. We have a boy from Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, New Jersey, and then a small handful from Canada. So, but 75% of our team is made up of kids from Western New York, and we're proud of that.
You have two returning veterans who have already made their verbal commitments to NCAA Division I programs. Tell me about how important that is for the team's depth and even for the program's reputation in recruiting talent.
Well, the league we're in and the position we're in, that's what sells your program is success on the ice in the league standings. I think means you have good players, and when you develop that and you develop that program, you're going to see kids get those college opportunities, and that's ultimately what my responsibility is, and the coaching staff's responsibility is get these kids in front of the right people, get the right people to come and watch them, and get them their hockey scholarships to strong D1 programs, and we started to see that tick up a little bit, and with the group we have this year, I expect it to tick up even more.
This is your first year full head coach. What are your expectations for the team?
I'm always an optimistic person. I think we've got a tremendous group. When I look back at last year, watching some of the stronger teams from last year, the Oakvilles, the Georgetowns, the Stovevilles, we had great games with them, and I think our team this year is light years better than we were last year. Offensively, we were strong last year. Not only do we have a lot of our best offensive players returning, we've added to that group. And defensively, which I thought was probably our weak point last year, we've added a tremendous amount of skill and depth to our defensive core. That's really going to balance out our game. So I think we have a team that can compete. Obviously, you still got to get it done on the ice. We're going to implement systems and do things, and the better we can get up to speed early. Because like I said, our season starts in less than a month, the better off we'll be.
Have you learned anything coaching in the minor leagues before here that you're going to help bring to this team?
The greatest thing you learn when you coach young kids and then get a chance to coach at an older level is it's a blessing to just be a part of a game that you love. And I think the coaching perspective is got to be a little bit different, because with the young guys you're developing a lot of skill sets more so than at this level, where you're developing a little bit but you're coaching more. It's about systems, it's about positioning, strategy, but it makes you appreciate the game more when you're around the kids, because you see the true love and joy of it, and you try and instill it in the young guys, because these are kind of the grind years, before they get to college. These are grinding years where they've got to work extremely hard to make that next step.
20 years ago, did you think you'd be in this position right now, play, retire, and now coaching?
Well, I always knew I'd be part of the game. I always thought that when I was done playing, I'd like to get involved in the National Hockey League right away, but that's always before you have your own kids and a son that plays, and obviously you want to be a part of their development as much as possible. So, I've always just loved amateur hockey. I've always loved this part of it, because I was in this position once myself, and when you've experienced it, you know how important it is to have people involved in your development to help do things that are important for you, whether it's instruction on the ice or off the ice, or getting the right people in to see you and getting you in front of the right people to give you every opportunity to succeed. So the game was great to me for many, many years. Now I'm in a wonderful position to be able to give back, not only to the young kids that I coach, but to these guys who obviously in a position of their development that they can see that next level around the corner, and help them realize that is a great pleasure.
Anything special about being back in Buffalo doing this?
Well, there's no place obviously I'd rather do it. When I did retire, I had opportunities to go right in the National Hockey League as an assistant coach, but we want to come back to Buffalo. It was our home, and we want to come back, and our roots were always here, but we wanted our roots to grow even deeper, and being a part now of the Junior Sabres program allows me to do that.
So Kristen had a big say in this.
Yeah. Well, when she sees what my schedule is this year, she's probably not going to be too crazy about it.
Do you want to elevate this? Do you want to get back into the NHL as a coach or assistant coach? Or?
I someday definitely want to get back to the National Hockey League, whether it's in coaching or something different. I guess the time will tell at that point. But for now, for the next bunch of years, I'm going to really look forward to building this program to one of the elite, and not just in the OJHL, but in North America, one of the top Tier 2 junior programs.
How important is it keeping Buffalo in the OHL with all the mergers and redistricting and stuff? How important was it to keep Buffalo as part of that?
It was really important. I know when Larry and Grant first brought this program back into the OJHL, there was some resistance. Teams don't want to drive over the border and the bus costs and everything else, but I think people have genuinely saw the benefit of having the Buffalo Junior Sabres in the league. They get to play in Buffalo, New York, where a lot of the college scouts are going to come and watch their teams play. But I think they've seen over the last few years the progress the program has made, and what any league wants is strong program, strong competition, good people, and they know they've got that with our program. So. I don't see Buffalo going anywhere soon from the OJHL.
Any comments on the offseason moves the Sabres have made for this season?
I like what they've done. I think there's been a very loud cry for a number of years, questioning the character of that hockey club. And just bringing in a guy like Steve Ott, just to name one of them, is a guy who will help rectify some of that, because he's got a lot of respect for what he does. And a lot of people may not like what he does, but he gets a lot of respect for what he does. And he's one of those guys that just puts it on the line for his team and his teammates. And, not that Buffalo's been short of those guys, but I think short of the guys that have been willing to do it on a nightly basis. So I think they're moving in the right direction.
Any comments on the CBA?
I think NHL fans won't have hockey for about 3-4 months, so OJHL, Buffalo Junior Sabres hockey is where it's at.
As someone who went through that process a couple years ago with the lockout, do you feel there's any more reason to be optimistic this time around with that?
You know, it's so hard to say. The collective bargaining, negotiations are such a funny thing because the general managers, I truly believe, got a collectively bargained agreement back in 04, 05 that I think they were ecstatic about. But, like every other league, you have owners who want to outdo other owners and general managers who want to be more clever than other general managers, and they find loopholes, and all of a sudden the salaries escalate, but partly because the game was growing too. The players on the ice were doing their job to grow the product of the game, so revenues were increased, and so now the battle is who gets some of those extra revenues that have been created. But I think at the end of the day, they'll figure it out just like they always do, and 6-7 years from now, there'll be more issues to hammer out then.
Any fun getting some of the kids out there that are legacy players, people you played with, people you watched growing up? I mean, is there any fun going with them on the team? Ralph and Ledger?
Like who?
Ledger's kid and
Oh,
kid.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of neat because, you remember these kids when they were just young boys, and to see them growing up now and playing, I mean, it was no different than, watching, Teddy Nolan's boy in the Stanley Cup final. I mean, I remember him when he was just a young boy running around, the old auditorium, and here he is, a big hulk of a human being now, up and down the wing, winning a Stanley Cup. So those things are always exciting because you always kind of project your son 10 years down the road and where they'll be and whose potential hands that they might be in. But those are exciting moments.